Hello, mates. It's me, the insane bastard, with you once again. Oh, that seems to be my new catchphrase. I think I'll start every fucking video like that. I'm making a video response to everybody's favorite theist here on YouTube. Not VenomThingX, no. I would never make a response to VenomThingX despite making that one video that said I might. The reason being that, of course, VenomThingX doesn't take responses, and plus those false DMCAs he filed today was a real dick move by him. Shame on you, VenomThingX. But this is not why I'm making this video. Everybody's favorite YouTube is, as we all know, Brock Lawley. And while outside of YouTube, on forums such as Blog TV, he can be a very courteous person, I still cannot accept, or rather I can accept, but I cannot excuse the total bullshit that he puts out in his videos. I'm sorry, Brock, I'm sorry. You know that on Blog TV, I'm a more courteous person as well. But I'm just calling bullshit when I see it. So, Brock, you made a video recently, and when I play it, and you will hear the audio from it, then you'll know exactly what video I'm talking about. So, let's just get right to this, shall we? Green Lantern, I like it, by the way.
YouTube atheist myths. One of the most popular atheist slogans is the absence of evidence is evidence of absence. Now,
I will admit I've never heard that used as a slogan, but let's go on.
Convoluted sentence, you should have your mind questioning the twisting and the turning of common sense.
You're right.
With close examination, this unravels real easily. It confuses what is known by a certain person in certain circumstances with what is and is not the case. For example, imagine a young man in ancient Greece. Using all of the knowledge and experience at his disposal, he might conclude that there are only 3 continents, only a handful of planets and stars in the sky. But what exactly does this tell us about the actual number of continents, or the amount of stars in the galaxy for that matter? Answer: it tells us very little, if not nothing at all. Squint your eyes just a bit, you'll clearly see beyond this flash of atheistic folly. You'll notice that the absence of evidence is evidence of nothing.
Clear and simple strawmanning of the atheist position, Brock Lawley. Well, I shouldn't say all atheists. I mean, there are some atheists out there who do cling to the silly belief that absence of evidence is evidence of absence. Let me make this perfectly frank. The idea that God exists is a positive statement. That means that the burden of proof is on you. That means that you have to have the evidence if your position is to be considered true. That's how debate works. That's how fucking logic works. And as to your example with the Greek young man in Greece, he would, in fact, be fully justified in believing that there are fewer continents than there actually are, that there are only 3 or 4 continents, like you said. He would be fully justified in believing that, even if it was false. Now, I am, of course, opening the door to, hey, maybe there really is a God. Fine, fine, fine. That's why I'm an agnostic atheist, as opposed to a Gnostic atheist. But I will say this. Nobody else in that boy's ancient Greek world would actually be justified in believing that there were more continents than 3, given the scientific knowledge that they had. That's just pure and common sense. Now, if somebody wanted to prove that there were more than 3 continents, fine, give the evidence, and maybe we might believe it. But yeah, bottom line, burden of proof is on you on this one. Strawmanning today's position. Strike 1, I guess. Let's move on.
The new atheist movement, they love to call faith a crutch, a wish upon a star, hope, rather than reality. Don't you know that we Christians simply project our wish for a protective father figure upon our imaginary God? We invest in him supernatural powers to convey on us what nature denies us. Well, what can we make of this Freudian nonsense? Well, the first and most obvious is that just because we wish for something, it says nothing about whether that thing is true or false. I, for one, wish for good friends. Does that make them all imaginary?
Brock Lawley, you're right. Just because we wish for something does not make it true or false. However, once again, strawman the atheist position. How is this, you ask? Well, it's quite simple. No one is making the claim that Christianity being used as a crutch actually makes God true or false. That's what you have to understand here. Rather, it's used as an explanation for why Christianity is still around. Those are 2 totally different arguments, Brock Lawley. You have to keep that in mind. Wow, 2 for 2. Let's keep moving.
We as an American people, once wished we could land on the moon. That wish had no hindrance to its realization. Yeah, I've heard heaven referred to as the adult Disneyland. But of course, saying something like this, Christians just long for puppy dogs and rainbows in the sky, and willfully sidesteps the Judeo-Christian belief in hell.
I'm sorry.
I mean, who among us wanting to feel warm and fluffy inside with our imaginary beliefs are going to conjure that one up? And then, of course, we come to the evolutionary hypocrisy smuggled into this atheistic attack. From an evolutionary point of view, belief should help the individual survive. The Evo doctrine of survival of the fittest implies that in order to survive in this world, one would need an accurate picture of what's actually going on, especially when it comes to food gathering or avoiding predators.
Or you could take it from the point of view that a common religion helps people come together in a sort of social system and builds bonds between people, like in church and shit like that, and that kind of thing is good for human survival because they'll protect each other from predators and enemies.
A deer that wishes wolves were friendly is one dead deer.
Yes, but a deer that can flock with its own has more chance of being alive.
After all, if one's investing time in this so-called imaginary belief system, well, he should lack the time and energy needed for evolutionary survival.
What? You don't invest time in belief, Rockwally. If you believe something, you believe, like, I believe that this scalpel is here. You know, I'm not investing time in believing that. It's instantaneous. I'm not investing energy in believing that. It's instantaneous. You can believe, come on, you can believe anything you want and still have time to do other things. Yeah.
The massive acceptance of this supposed evolutionary hindrance habit should be a big problem for atheists who swear fidelity to Darwinian evolution should. Lastly, many atheists will claim that to live by anything but pure materialism is to open the door to all kinds of craziness.
Well, they're right.
Brock, should we start believing in unicorns just because they can't be disproved? First of all,
No, we shouldn't be going.
also got this whole thing started by giving the example that a celestial teapot was roaming the galaxy undetected by our scientific instruments. But Richard Dawkins, he's the one that gave them their favorite atheist one-liner. If you listen close, you can almost hear the atheist community reading it for the first time and thinking, oh, this is brilliant. This is gonna cut like a knife. This is the death blow quip. This is going to bring those evil theists to their knees. The flying spaghetti monster one-liner. Oh, I chill. I quake. In fear of it. Just having it leave my lips is somewhat terrifying. However, with just a little scrutiny of their flying pasta and one-horned horse examples, one can see that the craziness here lies entirely on the part of the atheists saying such nonsense.
Really?
Teapots don't fly, and pasta's a very unlikely ingredient for monsters.
And bearded men don't create universes, Brock Lawley. Oh, God. The whole point here isn't that they are absurd. Of course, if you want absurdity, look no further than a talking snake or a Jew who can walk on water and turn it into wine and fucking defy the laws of physics and come back from the dead. The point here is, well, I guess you could say that, yes, it is absurd. But not... Actually, wow, I completely lost my train of thought. I was going to say that the point here isn't that spaghetti doesn't usually fly, and neither do teapots, but yeah, that kind of is the point, now that I realize it. Spaghetti doesn't fly, teapots don't fly, people don't walk on water, nor do they multiply fish, nor do snakes talk, nor do monsters with 3 heads, 7 tails, and 24 penises come to you in dreams and tell you about the future. None of that shit happens. That's the whole point of the flying spaghetti monster analogy. Let's move on.
The analogy's not only bad, it's grade school name-calling at best.
Well, the reason they make it sound so silly is because they want to make it sound, like I said, what's the word for it? Silly, not silly, absurd, that's the one. Now, if you don't like the flying spaghetti monster or the flying teapot examples, then you might as well say, okay, but believing in Christianity has just as much justification as believing in Yog-Sothoth, or Nyarlathotep, or Cthulhu. So yeah, there you go. No grade school name calling there, just the same exact argument repackaged with different names. Let's go on.
What adults should do, rather, is be constantly aware of what reason does and doesn't tell us in a given situation. There may be things outside of our experience that have features different from from those within our experience. We should be open to such possibilities. And as a side note, the Wright brothers spaghetti monster thing, that's always amused me. After all, if you ask 10 atheists whether or not they believe in aliens, 9 of them are going to say yes without hesitation.
That's not necessarily true.
But these unknown aliens are completely outside of our testing. They could have 50 hearts, they could have 400 eyeballs. They could use telepathy to communicate with one another. Would it not be eat crow, put your atheistic foot in your mouth great if the first alien we ever encountered was a flying spaghetti monster?
Not really, because right now we have no evidence of it. That's the whole fucking point, Brock Lolly. Okay, well, that's the end of your argumentation for this video, so I guess I'm done with this. This has been The Insane Bastard, and since you have watched this entire video, you, the audience, whoever you are, you should definitely favorite it, comment it, and hell, maybe subscribe. Well, that's me for today. Peace the fuck out.